And welcome back to Let's Play Blightfall. This is episode 2, and where we left off here at night. And by the way, you can still sleep at night, and let's go ahead and do that so we have a good spawn point. You know, some people have said in other LPs of this that the day is not as long and the night is longer, and that may be true, so just something to keep in mind. So a couple things we're going to do today. First of all, I'm going to quickly grab just a little bit more wood here, because I really would like to build a chest, because I'm getting items that are going to start exceeding the capacity of my inventory. That looks like it's not going to grow there. I'll try next door. Yep, there we go. Okay, so anyway, so look at it. It really gets restrained by these glass tiles sometimes. So I'm going to grab this tree real quick and make a chest, but then we're immediately going to move on to two main goals today, and that is basic mining with flint tools and farming. Again, these concepts are pretty elementary in vanilla Minecraft, but in this Minecraft, you got to keep in mind that, ooh, that's a big one, that you're going to have the inability to make normal tools, which means that it's going to be even more complicated in this one, but at the same time, because of how complex and well designed this mod pack is, notwithstanding the complications related to Tinker's tools, you're really in a position where you, these types of things are so basic, you're going to see another reason why what we might call vanilla techniques, vanilla Minecraft techniques, are, you know, not particularly helpful. By the way, you can do that. You can create wooden armor. I'm going to create some wooden leggings. It's like unrealistic, but there we go. So now I look pretty awesome. Woo. Wearing wooden pants. That's great. It might have been a waste of wood. Frankly, you're going to have material to create actual armor with in the very near future anyway. So, okay, I'm getting distracted. Let me get back to what I was saying. So, you can do basically what we just did with wood, except for you can use flint now to upgrade your tools. And what you do is you just need to upgrade the parts that you want to upgrade. You can upgrade pretty much any part, but the parts that do the actual work for you are the ones that are going to be the most impacted by upgrading. So I'm upgrading my mattock and my... Oh, I should probably upgrade my sword as well, shouldn't I? Okay. Before you upgrade anything, you need to repair it to 100% health. So I'm going to grab our wood and get a full health pickaxe, a full health mattock, and a full health wooden sword. Now, keep this... When you create things, you select the thing you want to create and then you create it. But if you click the Repair and Modification tab, you can simply upgrade them. So we'll put the sword in here, and as you can see by putting the flint part there, we're upgrading to a flint longsword. It'll change its durability to 121 and do 2.5 hearts of damage. Right now, it's durability 40, 2.5 hearts of damage. So it doesn't really increase the damage, but it does increase the durability substantially. So, by the way, see the Skill XP tab there? I'm not sure if this was added by Tinker's Construct or not, but... because I think under vanilla Tinker's Construct, as it were, you don't have tool experience, but this one you do, and so it's a really cool thing, and we're going to be looking at that. But that's why it's always a great idea to upgrade your tools rather than create new ones. I'm going to make one exception to that general preference, and I'm going to create a second pickaxe in the near future. But in general, like for example the mattock, there's no benefit to creating a brand new flint mattock, because you're really don't need more than one mattock in this game, and you might as well get the benefits of having experience with your tool rather than having a second one, unless you're like, you know, away from home and you don't have it with you and you need to create one, and that's fine too. Okay, there we go. So we've got this nice ring of trees growing. By the way, we've grabbed a couple, 3 apples there. I'm gonna create a chest. I'm gonna create a number of chests if I can. I can only create one right now. I'm just going to create a general purposes chest, and then eventually we're going to do some more advanced item storage. Okay, so let's grab that coal real quick. We can go ahead and harvest that with our flint tool now. Ah, man, okay, let me... So, actually this is very convenient. There's this large deposit of coal right here. So I can use this coal for two main purposes. One is as a fuel source for our furnaces, which we will need very soon, as well as a great source to make torches right away, which we'll need very soon as well. And it kind of creates this cavity here in our landscape, which we might use as some sort of additional space to do stuff. I don't know. We're going to need to create a farm right about here as well. So I think I might start doing that. Why don't we do the farm first, and then we'll go mining. Okay, that's good. Okay. I think that's going to keep the water flow. Yep, okay. Now, farming rules in this game, I think, are much the same as they are in vanilla, with maybe one possible exception. I'm going to test that out right now. So, I've created this space here, and what I want to do is grab some dirt, and like that. Okay, great. So let me grab my mattock, and now if I left click, I can harvest that dirt very easily, but if I right click, I can create farm plots. And as you can see, I can create those like normal. And yeah, same rules as usual. You can go up to 4 away from your water source. Now, I can tell you, just without showing you, that if I were to right-click here, it would immediately unplow that field, so I would know that I couldn't use that field. So there's our farm plots. By the way, without grass in this biome, we have a distinct disadvantage. Not only do we not have plants around here at all, but I can't bone meal grass to create seeds. So our only option, is to go ahead and go to the supplier, and a couple things. We can actually request saplings, animals, seeds, and emergency food. And I actually may need to request that emergency food, but for now I'm going to request seeds. And this takes away from your reputation, mind you. We're at 20, concerned, but I can go down to 18 and get a seed bag. And I'm going to do the same thing with the sapling, because I'm sick of oak wood. And let's see what this gives us. Okay, so we got an olive sapling, so that's going to give us olive crops. And we got darkwood sapling, so I'm immediately going to plant that darkwood instead of one of these oak woods here. And actually, I'm not sure that's going to grow there. Okay, so I'll bone meal that later. And then the olive sapling, I'm going to hang on to the olive sapling for now. It's not what I was hoping for, because it's not something you can plant in a farm plot, but the nice thing about these is they're repeatable, and there's a pretty low cooldown period, so I can do both of them again, which is exactly what I just did. Sapling, this time I got birch, not what I was hoping for, and seed bag, apple. Well, that's useful, but not what I was hoping for. So I'm going to do that one more time. I can also request animals this way, but I'm not going to. Eventually I can request sugarcane, but I have to complete some quest elsewhere first. So we'll get to that soon, but the other thing I could do is I could simply run over here. There are 2 sources of dirt that are relatively close that might have the ability to bone meal some grass. So let me grab some bone meal. Let's do that. I think that's more fundamental than mining for metals right now. So, gosh, which one do I want to do? I think I'll go this way. This is a somewhat treacherous journey, especially when I have only wooden leggings. You know what I can do? I can build a boat. Let's build a boat. That's going to be a lot safer. Let me try this one more time before I leave. And that almost completely wipes out my reputation that I've built up. I got an essence berry bush. That's cool, but it's definitely not what I was looking for. There are these bushes that are part of Tinker's construct. This actually gives me what will be used for experience over time, eventually, and we'll cover that. Ghostwood. Ghostwood is cool. Ghostwood is cool. That's what that table was made out of in the beginning part of this playthrough. Okay, so by the way, I'm gonna grab a couple torches there. I need my planks to make some boats. Let's make 2 boats. Boats are stackable in this mod pack, by the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and I should probably sleep first. Early to bed, early to rise, right? Okay. So, back on the trail. Woohoo. I should have put the boat in there and launched it off of here. Yeah, here we go. Woo! Actually kind of surprised it didn't break. That was kind of foolish. Oops. Alright. Okay, so let's go on a little journey. Going on journeys is going to be a fundamentally important aspect of this mod pack. And one of the advantages to this particular location is how close it is to the ocean. You'll see that this one, for example, you have to walk across this treacherous, tainted land. This one, you basically have immediate access. You got this beautiful bay, which is going to be my base of operations, probably. But anyway, what we're doing is we're sailing. I need to get to this soil here. And I think I could just go right up here, maybe. So let's just do that, because it's safe. This water is safe. Or I could just go over here. Actually, that's closer. Let's just do that. So while I'm sailing here, I'm going to tell you that you can kind of look around this map. This is like this is such a beautifully designed map. Like these coastal, what do you call that? When there's like a, is it a shoal? I can't remember what the technical term is. Oh, and as you can see, there's some sheep being turned into monsters right before our eyes. And there's this giant looking thing with vines coming down. There's a aura node right above us there, you can see off to the upper left. And there's a sheep in the water. Now, what I really should do is I should go ahead and grab that sheep while he's still intact, because that could be food, and it's definitely wool. You do get mutton from sheep in this mod pack, so. Oh, and one of the monster sheep came out to join us. That's nice. Okay, we got the wool. I could grab some clay while I'm here too, it looks like. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, let's grab some of this clay over here. And I could grab maybe a couple of these flowers. I mean, there's some resources here that are not present in my area back home. Problem is all these annoying sheep monsters. Oh. I should not grab that. I will be grabbing those in the future regularly, but right now I don't have a way of holding onto that without it tainting me, and so I'm just gonna leave it be for now. Okay, so by the way, the reason I'm not trying to save those sheep for breeding later is because they will taint themselves very quickly out here, and there's no way I can really reliably prevent that. And sheep are abundant in this mod pack. You can get pure, non-tainted sheep later very easily, so it's not an issue for me. If by no other way than simply to ask for them from your supplier. I guess that would be the solution to the aforementioned loophole or plot hole from episode 1 about how they sent us out into here without giving us any supplies. Well, they didn't give us any supplies directly, but they do have a supplier guy, so you can ask for supplies directly. I'm just going to grab a bunch of this clay while I'm here, though. The point of this journey is to grab farming like seeds from the grassland, but since we're here, we're going to grab this clay, and another thing that I'd like to grab maybe would be sugarcane, if I can find any, because I'm definitely going to need that really soon. By the way, in order to promote efficient creation of these videos, I'm going to minimize the amount of production that I do on these, which means I'm not going to do a lot of cuts and editing. If I do cuts, it'll be very basic. It'll be like, I'll join you back in 5 minutes after I get that ore mined up, and then it'll be just a simple fade to the next scene. What I'm not going to do is like crazy intermission music or something like that, which some very good video producers do, and I have done in the past. But the problem with that is that it creates a logistical nightmare for me to have to spend twice as much time on the back end to process the video as it does to create it in the first place, and that disincentivizes getting these videos out. So, okay, how much clay do I have? I've got 2 almost. I'll just grab the rest of this real quick, and then I'll go grab my seeds that I'm going to need. Oops. By the way, I think the Matic does work on clay, unlike sand and gravel. I could be wrong. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump up here. Now this taint, over time, is going to slowly turn these logs into crusted taint, which becomes... Ooh, that's jungle wood. Neat. I wonder if I can get a jungle tree. These are not jungle leaves, though. So that crusted taint eventually becomes... like enemies. Like, can I? Okay, yeah. Okay, I can do that. So the problem is all this crusted taint, or fibrous taint rather, is blocking the grassland from being open. So I need to break a bunch of this so I can get more bang for my buck when I bone meal it. But theoretically, even the tainted grass will bear seeds that I can use on non-tainted lands, like that. See? None yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it won't bear seeds. Oh, there's a dandelion. There we go. There's one of the seeds that I need. There's actually a total of 1, 2, 3 types of seeds that I'm looking for right now. So, and as you can see, I'm running really low on food. So, really, what I should probably do is go ahead and grab a supplement from the ship. And I probably will momentarily. I'm going to grab these flowers too, because, you know, just for dye. I have to use all this bone meal to get these seeds. I will, but I'd really like... Okay, there's the second one, barley. And the third one I need is cotton. And that's pink, very distinctive pink. There we go. So we've got the seeds that we need. So that's great. So I'm done with the bone meal stuff. Let me do 2 more things before I head back. I'm going to grab emergency food from the supplier. I'm going to put a torch here just to kind of mark that I've been here. Torches are one thing that will not be affected by the taint. Actually, in general, you can kind of count on the fact that transparent blocks in general will not become tainted. God, I wish I had some jungle leaves. Oh, I could have just grabbed those seeds too. So that's why this sheep over here is probably okay, as long as he stays on that transparent leaf block. So other types of transparent blocks are glass, which is why the biodomes work, as well as stairs and half slabs and things like that. Chests don't become tainted. Actually, you know what? I'm wrong. Half slabs and stairs can become tainted. The block itself doesn't become tainted, but the adjacent blocks do, and they look like they're on the half slabs. So you end up with a situation where you've got an untainted half slab, for example, that is surrounded by tainted land, which still can cause you to become infected with the taint. So effectively, even though the actual block is not tainted, the effect is the same. You still get the taint effect. Okay, so I grabbed some of that mutton, which is useful, and I'll cook that up later. By the way, if you really want, if you're ambitious while you're out and about, you can grab these different stone types and start submitting them under your geologist tab. I always grab maybe 5 of each. So this is basalt. And there's dolomite down here. Let's grab that. Okay, so I'm just kind of like chilling and looking for sugarcane before I finish up. One thing that would absolutely be a deal breaker to me right now is if there was a tentacle. Oops. Okay, I do not want that right now. If there was a tentacle coming after me right now or something. But I haven't seen any. And, ooh, there's another stone type up there. Is that rhyolite? I think it's rhyolite. Shirt. Even better. I've got rhyolite near my base. This is something that you do probably just once, really, in the game, is gather these rock samples. Ooh, there's a chunk loading error here. This happens sometimes, and I'm not sure if other people struggle with it as much as I do, but especially when I get far... God dang it. What the hell? Oh, is it broken? I'm running away. Don't die. Okay. Boat. I'm going to run back to the water here. I've got this issue in my game, and I'm not sure if others struggle with it as much as I do with the chunk loading issue. But I get these chunk loading errors, and it's really easy to fix. All I do is I just restart the game here, as you can see. But anyway, they're kind of annoying, but when I restart the world, it'll load properly. So, and sometimes if you go up closer to it, if it's there's basically types that fix themselves and types that don't, in my experience. Ooh, look at that. That one looks like it's not tainted, which is really cool. Okay. The beautiful thing about this mod... Oh, there's cows up there. God, I wish I could cultivate them right now, but I can't. The beautiful thing about this mod in general is that it is so well designed, and there are these beautiful landscapes, and it's very large. Like every part of this world was designed. I'm sure some of it was designed through random terrain generation, but a lot of it wasn't, and a lot of it was maybe randomly designed, and then the creator came back and added stuff to it, which is great. Right now I'm just kind of skimming the shores for sugarcane. It's getting dark out, which is slightly inconvenient. I'm going to go up here a little ways, but I'm not going to go all the way up to that. Yeah, I don't want to go up there yet. That is something, that tree there, and there's the Omega drop pod that would be under the ocean if I wanted it to be. I'm not going to go to that tree yet. In fact, I want to avoid going to that tree because I don't want those chunks to be loaded, because that will cause the blight to take its effect on the landscape faster, which means that certain things are going to be less available as far as resources and things like wood and whatnot. So I want to actually avoid those things being loaded. So I'm going to avoid that area for now. Whoa, where'd my boat go? Why did my boat break? It thinks I hit this ice over here. Oh, Minecraft and your crazy 1.7 boats. Okay, well, I guess I've got 2 wood. I could make, I can't, I really need one of those woods that would have fallen down there. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and just make another one, as crazy as it is. Okay. Okay. Boat. I'll leave this crafting station there, and I'll try to avoid getting anywhere near the shore so it can't possibly think that I've run into the shore, even though I didn't. Don't tell me another chunk loading error already. God dang it. I feel like this is okay, if I die from that, I'm gonna be pissed. Okay, I gotta reload. This is crazy. I don't know what's going on. I feel like that having 2 in a row like that was a substantial issue, like more problematic than usual. Okay, so the game understands that I just bypassed that, but visually, obviously, that was crazy for a second. So anyway, but I'm not going to cut that out. I mean, I don't feel like editing all that out. I'm just going to keep that in. That's just part of, I think that's especially in 1.7 with a lot of mods, I think it's a memory issue of some sort. Like, oh, I'm too lazy. I'm too focused on other things to load that area right now, and you don't appear to be over there right now, so that's not a problem. Oh, you're going that way. Well, oops, I already focused on other stuff. I can't load that right now. That's kind of the internal monologue that I imagine is going on in my computer when I have those issues. Okay, so I'm not seeing any sugarcane, and there's a tentacle, and I don't want to deal with him. Yeah, that's unfortunate that there's no sugarcane. I know for a fact there's some over at the swamp, and that's going to be a quest in the near future. It's going over to the swamp. So I may just have to get it there, or I may just have to requisition it from the supplier tab. Let's go ahead and head back home now and finish out this episode with some farming and some mining. There's our biodome. Let's see if I can just not break that boat somehow. Pretty sure I broke it. I have no idea where it ended up. Okay. And there's another tentacle that's formed up there. Those tentacles form from time to time, and that's just something we have to deal with. Oh, and we actually got some zombies spawning in our biodome. That is... Well, there's a lot of them, too. That is crazy. I am not used to having that many vanilla mobs, like non-Thaumcraft mobs, spawn in my biodome. But actually, I really want to keep that flesh because, unlike vanilla Minecraft, that flesh is actually somewhat helpful. Where's that? Oh. Yikes. That means he can reach me. Okay, I definitely don't want that. Okay, so let's go in here before we get carried away. I only ended up with 2 of those. Okay, there we go. Got some more of that flesh. Hopefully that skeleton will just come out and fall down the thing. I wonder if my mining exploits without torches contributed to the formation of those mobs. I really need to go in there and kill them, and actually it's not a bad thing. The bones are used obviously for bone meal and for types of cooking and some other things, and it's actually a material that you could use to make tools if you really wanted to. It's not that good. Okay, and last but not least, my dark wood grew there, which is great. Where is he? He's down below. Okay. Gosh, I cannot believe how many of those mobs had spawned here. That was crazy. Let me just go ahead and add some light so as to avoid that in the future. Anyway, as I was saying a little while ago, one thing I'd like to do is make stairs for this mine situation. Which means I have to carve out an extra thickness here. Okay, so I think I can go ahead and put these stairs in real quick now, just to kind of start a tradition. The reason I had to carve out the extra one is so I can have head clearance. Okay, this is looking good already. Whoops, that went upside down somehow. Okay, whoop. Shoot, I should have thought about that. Okay, there we go. So that gives us an energy-free way of progressing down and up the stairs. For now, we're going to need more schist if we want to continue that tradition, though. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and start the farm, and then we'll finish up with some actual mining. So one thing that I want to do first is maybe the cotton. The cotton I'm going to put on the outside here. The Cotton gives us string, which is useful for a whole bunch of stuff later, and for wool if we need it for now. And we seem to have the most of those, so let's put those there. We can bone meal this quite nicely. And the thing about these produced items here, like that, is that you can use them to create additional seeds. And I'm just going to focus on this barley, because the barley is going to be the most productive food crop. But I just created all 11 of those into seeds, and I'm just going to plant them all. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of those. Oh, I got an extra one there. Okay. I'm going to unplant these, and I'm going to turn this row into cotton. Save those for later. So if I go like that, and one more cotton seed, okay. And there we go, there's the little farm. Now I'm gonna put some more torches up around here so I can avoid mob spawns. And we're gonna need those torches anyway as we explore down there, but okay. So this will help our stuff constantly grow. Let's put some torches in the corners. Okay, and that will help a lot with mobs and whatnot. Okay, so put that. Oh, let's do the geology quests real quick while we're thinking about it. I'm gonna request more seeds and more food, and we're at -5 now. You want to be careful not to let that go too far down, but we're just getting started, and we'll build that up very quickly. So I got chestnut. Oh, chestnut. That is a food. Okay, so that is one of our food trees, but as you can see, we're not getting any food crops, which is crazy. Sapling, we got a jungle wood, that's cool. So let's put the jungle wood down. By the way, unlike vanilla Minecraft, we're actually going to use these saplings for some things later. Put that clay in there. Actually, I think I need some clay for the quest. Let's do the geology quest. So if I get out of there and go to geologist, I can, first of all, I'll just do each one of these and see. So I got chert and dolomite out of that one. Got basalt, and I think that's it. Yeah. Okay. I need lead, tin, copper. I need this thing called promethium. I need ore clays. I need platinum. I need nickel. I need silver. And I need coal and so forth. I have coal, so I can do the coal. I need redstone and all those, and iron ore and all that stuff. So that is just stuff we need. But let's go back to the instructor, because that's kind of how you get going with this. So he told me to tech up with a flint pickaxe, and I made the mistake of not turning that in when I had it. So let me do that real quick. Oops. Where did I put my flint? Where's my flint? Oh, I bet it's here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, you can leave that right on the table if you want. So I'm going to create that and turn that in real quick. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and create an oven, because I haven't done that yet. Let's just put him right there. And let's cook this up, because I'm going to need some food. I've got this emergency rations, and I'm trying to use those last if I can. I kind of want to create an axe. Can't remember how to create the axe. Oh, I just need a stick. Easy enough. I'm creating an axe separately from my mattock, because axes are much more efficient at chopping down trees than mattocks are. Mattocks are more of a farming tool, and I'm going to need it's a hatchet that I've made using tinkers rather than, and hatchets are useful only for individualized cutting of individual wood blocks from trees. Where there's another tool we can get later called a lumber axe, which we will definitely be getting that will allow us to get entire trees all at once. But for now, we're just going to grab these individual... Actually, I'm kind of surprised I can harvest that. Dark wood is a somewhat hard wood. There's harder woods. You know, actually, I think if I were to grab... There's a website. I can look up the hardness of these different woods, which I'm loading on the other page here. Ooh, good sapling. Definitely want these exotic woods. I definitely want to be creating additional saplings and replanting those. By the way, our episode is running past time, and we're definitely going to be finishing up momentarily. And we need a new chest. Okay, so let's build a new chest. We'll just make an extension of this one, and then eventually we'll organize things. Okay, so throw all this in there. Okay. But yeah. So pulling up this page, I'm just going to tell you from the other side of my browser that you're not seeing right now that I'm just Googling Blightfall, and I'm actually Googling metals because the way these woods work, they're actually just listed as comparable or the equivalent of certain types of metals. And so if you load this page, you'll see that ghost wood is considered the same toughness as flint. Dark wood is considered the same toughness as copper or brass or promethium, or Certus quartz, which we're going to get as our next upgrade. So the fact that we have dark wood means we actually have something that's hard enough to be considered, quote, a soft metal, unquote, which means that we could use it to harvest iron or oroclase or certain types of other materials. So that's pretty cool. And if we can get some bloodwood eventually, that will count as diamond level. So that would be even better if we could grab some of that eventually. Although these are great woods for decorative purposes as well. So we definitely want to be holding on to those. Okay, so let's make some more torches. Great. Okay. And I think what we'll do now is do just a little bit of mining. This episode's gone long, but I don't really care at this point. Yeah, sorry, I was just checking on the length of my video. We are almost to 40 minutes, and that's fine. I'm not worried about it. Okay, so let's throw these in the chest. I kind of want to stick up here and get the rest of these saplings if I can, but now I know that I've got at least one extra sapling, one planted sapling of each of these exotic trees. And why don't we... I hate to use so much reputation. It wants me to make grout, and I'm happy to do that. I'm going to grab my daily bone meal, by the way. Just do that as often as you can. I need to get some bread going. I need to turn that in. That's going to give me one. It wants me to get a copper pickaxe next, or promethium. Once I find promethium, I can unlock that one. It wants me to turn in some bread. Now, let me show you something. Let's do this real quick. In this mod, you need to do bread a little bit differently than normal. So normally you just take your wheat and make it into bread. In this one, we need to create... Oops, I think it's... Oh, I need regular stone. Okay. Can I use shirt? Let me see about the shirt. I think I can do that. Yes, okay, good. So you have to use a regular stone block like chert, or you can use cooked cobblestone like smooth stone. To create that, I'm going to grab that flint back, by the way. You need this mortar and pestle to process your wheat and your barley. So I'm going to grab this wheat here. So that gives us 3 wheat. Now, I could go ahead and do this, and that will give us something called primitive bread. Or, and much more efficiently, I can put it with the mortar and pestle and create flour. All right, I'm going to put this away now. The flour can be smelted, and that will give us, oops, I need fuel. That'll give us good bread, as I might call it. Alright, so let's chop down these trees. I think I'm going to upgrade my pickaxe before I go down mining. This is definitely something you don't have to do for sure. The flint pickaxe is decent, but I'm going to upgrade it with this. By the way, I'm going to go to the supplier and I'm going to keep doing seeds and saplings until I feel like I've got a good collection of what I might actually need. So finally I got something I can plant. And I got birch again, not helpful. Although I guess I could plant it for variety. So peas can be planted over here. Let me grab some dirt and let's just expand our farm a little bit. Oh, you know what? I could actually create a little channel here, couldn't I? Can I do this? Is that going to be... what I'm wondering, I can never remember this, whether I think flowing water does count for purposes of farming. So I think I can plant right here. Yes. Excellent. Okay. So let me just make this our pea farm. I really gotta stop doing that. That is addictive, just getting free plant stuff. Oops. But if I go to instructor, I can grab some more bone meal. And I got broccoli. Excellent. And I got maple. That's cool, I guess. So let's bone meal this. So I got some peas. I can eat those directly. Or I can make them into seeds by doing the same thing. So I've got 2 more pea seeds, and I'm going to go ahead and plant those. And the exact same process can be used with this broccoli. And so I'm going to grab... Oop, little lag there. I'm going to grab some dirt. I think I'm just going to... I'm not going to do mining this episode. I'll do that next episode. But I'm just going to make this episode all about farming and trees. Arboreal concerns, as it were. So broccoli. Okay. And let's bone meal that and create a little group of broccolis. Okay, so we've got peas and broccoli. I'm going to leave that torch there for now. And that's great. This is our little farm plot. And I could actually create another little branch going off that way and make this farmland too. Maybe I should do that just for the sake of consistency. Okay, so that's cool. I'm gonna create that. Ooh, that water could have destroyed that, and I definitely want to keep that, so I have to try to avoid destroying that. But let me replace this with dirt. Yeah, okay. So this is going to be our farms, and our farms are in the biodome, as you can see. And, you know, at some point in the future, oops, it may behoove me to put those somewhere besides the biodome, where there's more space, for example. But for now, we're just going to keep them in here because it's convenient and close by and protected. Let's go ahead and plant the maple. Okay, broccoli and that. I'm going to eat one of the cooked mutton. By the way, if anybody saw Game of Thrones on Sunday, you will know that the Onion Knight, I can't remember his name, asked Sir Alistair for mutton, and it was very subtle, but he was testing him to see if they would quickly acquiesce to his trivial concern about food, just to get him to open the door so they could slaughter them. And it turns out his willingness to open the door so readily for something so trivial in the context of an armed rebellion against his leadership was clearly an indication that he just wanted to placate him so he could get him to open the door to slaughter him and his men. And then there's the thing with Jon Snow that I'm not going to mention right now. Okay. Game of Thrones talk on Let's Play. Always fun. I'm sure that if you're watching this, there's a high likelihood that you're at least familiar and probably watch Game of Thrones, or at least want to. Okay, there's our new farm plot. And that all is arable land, every last bit of it. And we are actually starting to run a little bit low on dirt, but again, there's some underground, so we should be okay. And that'll be fine. That'll be a good, decent-sized interior farm. Any more farming beyond that, really, we might do outside. Okay. Let me do one more. Can I afford it? I'm negative 17. I'm going to avoid getting down to negative 30, but I'm going to keep doing this because right now it is so exponentially more useful to have certain good materials right now than it is to have a really positive reputation. God dang it. I really want bloodwood. Almond. Good. We're going to create an orchard sooner than later, but for now I'm just going to... Okay. Let me also turn in, going back to instructor tab, we can turn in bread now because we've got bread. So that gives us 5. That's great. And then it wants us to create these much more complex foods, which we will get to, and this cooking for blockheads thing, which we will also get to. Probably next episode. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to chop this down. Let's call it an episode. How about? I could keep going on this forever. Love this mod pack, but I'm just going to finish out by chopping this down. And let me show you what I mean by upgrading to the darkwood. So what I need to do is create, and I'm just going to only do my pickaxe this time. Create a pickaxe head there, and I need to repair my current one with flint, so I can just do it here, or I can do it on a crafting table too, and that's fine. And watch this. So right now, if I hit shift, it says durability 121, mining level hard non-metal, and if I, why can't I do that? Oh, there we go. Okay. It will go to soft metal. So one level above, our durability will actually be decreased by 15, but that's worth it. Mining speed 4, modifiers 1, 1. Definitely worth it to upgrade it, even though it reduces the durability slightly, because then we can actually harvest things, soft metals, like copper and such. So, okay, so I think that's great, and we're going to use that next time, but for now I'm going to throw my one remaining piece of flint in here, and yeah, I think we're going to call it an episode. We're going to have to organize this probably next episode too. So let me try the lottery for seeds and trees one last time. We got a pistachio for our orchard, and we got a willow, which is a new type of tree that is not going to be grown in this dome because it is so big. We're just not going to deal with it, but because there's really not room for it in here. So, okay, well, we didn't get lucky that time. So I think I'm going to call it an episode here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. And just remember that if you like this video, be sure to check out the next one coming up. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Let's Play Blightfall.